What's up, guys? Josh here again, the Daily Mountain Bike Rider in the Daily Mountain Bike Rider Cave. If you can't tell, I have a new setup here, trying to make editing a little easier because I want to make more videos for you guys. So let's get into today's video. In my last video, you saw my new full suspension bike, and that video took me too long to make, and so this one I wanted to get out because I got a new hardtail. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, this thing is a doozy, and I bought it because I'm planning on racing this year hardtail in 2 enduro races. That's going to be pretty legendary. But before we talk about those races, how about we go see what bike I got? Let me introduce you to it. So here it is, my new hardtail. It's a 2022 Kona Honzo ESD. If you guys have been following the channel for any amount of time, you know I love hardtails. I love taking them on things you probably shouldn't. When I thought about the ultimate downhill-oriented hardtail, this is basically it. It's like a big, burly, slack enduro rig that happens to not have rear suspension, which is like everything I like. It has a 63-degree head tube angle, aka it makes it really slack. It's very long for a medium, and it's just gnarly. And the coolest part about this is I bought this as a complete build because this is the first, I kid you not, first complete build of any bike that's somewhat affordable that you wouldn't have to change a single thing on, and you can shred this thing so hard. Now I did make a couple of small upgrades to it just for my liking, but really you don't have to. So the small things I upgraded, one was a 200mm dropper post, and if you look at how much is still left in that seat tube, I could probably have a 300mm dropper post. It's large, but I have freakishly long legs for being 5'9". I upgraded the handlebars to my carbon FSA bars only because I've been running them a long time and I really enjoy them. I actually have thrown on clipless pedals because I found if I want to go fast downhill, like for an enduro race, that clipless pedals make a huge difference for me. I threw in some PNW grips because I really like all the stuff they make, especially their droppers and grips though. And then last but not least, I made the fork 170mm, which is ridiculous. So this Marzocchi Z1 comes stock at 150mm, which is a lot of travel for a hardtail. And I rode this for probably about like 15 rides, and I really liked it. Overall bike felt great, but I wanted a little more travel and a little slacker head tube angle because I plan to race this thing in a full-on pro category or expert, like a full enduro, and actually 2 of them. This extra travel makes it so that the head tube angle is 62 degrees, just like ridiculously slack. It's slacker than a Transition Spire or my Sentinel or like basically any other bike out there except the Grim Donut. And the travel makes it so that on long, gnarly descents, even on a hardtail, you're not taking as much of a beating, even though it's still pretty terrible. And the big reason I did this is because I plan to race the Galbraith Enduro that's here in Bellingham. They're the first enduro they're ever doing, and I'm racing in the hardtail class, which is pretty cool. I've done a hardtail enduro in the past. You can check it out here if you want to. But the real cool thing I'm doing is I'm going to be racing the EWS with my other YouTuber friends on this hardtail. Which, racing an EWS on a hardtail, it's nothing new. Blake's done it from GMBN. I always forget what they're called. He's done it, but he's a professional rider. I'm not. And I'm going to be racing at Whistler. So that's going to be a pretty gnarly competition. And when I thought about what bike I was going to ride, this is literally the first one that came to mind. And so far, this thing feels the closest to a full suspension bike on the downhill, and just is such a good bike in so many ways. Big thank you to, first off, PNW Components for sending me the dropper seat post. Very kind of them. Second is Kona. I reached out to them and told them I was planning on racing, and they sold me this complete bike at cost, which is very nice of them. And of course, my local bike shop, which can be your local bike shop too, Velasco. That was helped me with my spare parts. So anyway, I'm going to take you guys on the journey of me racing this bike. I'm very excited for the Galbraith Enduro. It's coming up in like 2 weeks or a week and a half, and I have some fun plans with that you're going to want to watch. And then of course at the beginning of August, the EWS, and that is going to be gnarly. So I hope you stay tuned in. If you have any questions about the bike, let me know down below. Besides that, you know what time it is. Don't spend too much time watching a guy talk about a new beautiful purple hardtail. But get out there, ride your bike. Make sure you do it every day.